Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself.
So what is this kid actually saying? He's saying that physical reality in this world is just an illusion. It all comes down to data. You, me, your thoughts, even the space between us, it all comes down to ones and zeros. And then he goes on to say, if you want to manipulate some object in this world, if you want to break free of your limitations, it's impossible if you try to come at this from the perspective that you are a separate thing over here and you're trying to manipulate a separate object over there. That's impossible. You have to come at this from the correct perspective. You have to come at this from the truth that there is no here and there. There are no separate objects. Again, it all comes down to data within the realm of the matrix. Okay, so that's all well and good for the context of the matrix, but is there any real insight into what that kid is saying that relates to our world, our actual daily world of flesh and blood and material objects? Or is this just really a bunch of new age mumbo-jumbo, similar to the idea that, oh, the universe is just my personal wish machine?
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck.
Or is there something actually tangible that we can extract from that kid's insight? Something that we can actually use in our daily world? And that is what we're going to explore in today's video. I'm an author and I'm a researcher in the fields of paranormal states of consciousness, lucid dreaming, and astral projection. So sit back and enjoy the trip. What you are watching is an experiment in progress. An experiment in describing a truth about a very real, hidden potential that I've learned every human possesses. I'm not an actor or an internet personality. I'm a writer and an artist who is far more comfortable behind a laptop or a canvas than a camera and a microphone. But I have over 30 years of direct experience with lucid dreaming and astral projection, and I believe I can use this medium to convey a concept in a way no one else has attempted. Around the age of 19, I began having spontaneous experiences that radically altered my understanding of what we are and what we're capable of. Over the years, I've been shown that our very consciousness is something that can survive outside of the mind and body. It appears to be able to be in multiple places at once. It seems that it can project itself across vast distances instantaneously. It can bring about radical physical healing of the body, and it even appears to be able to move through time. Furthermore, I believe it is our consciousness that is manifesting our reality right this very moment in ways most of us aren't ready to accept. Now, I'm fully aware that these are not new concepts. Shaman, monks, and all the many seekers of the truth have been speaking about these same ideas for thousands of years. Ideas that our modern particle physics is just beginning to uncover. I find that consciousness, whatever it may be, whatever its true nature, is something deeply fundamental to the universe, something that doesn't ultimately come and go, live or die. I find it simply is a nature of reality, one that we are just beginning to appreciate. To be clear, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not speaking about a supernatural concept. I don't feel this truth is a religious or a spiritual message at all. In fact, I'm personally an atheist. I find these phenomena are not supernatural, but rather perfectly natural. My interest here is not to get you to believe me or to have faith that I'm telling you the truth. My intention is to get you to be able to do what I can do. And I believe I've isolated exactly what it is about me that's allowed me to perform these paranormal feats. And it has nothing to do with magical books or prayers or dogma. As we're going to explore here, it has everything to do with the relationship we carry with narratives. I won't pretend to know what our full potential really looks like, but I am certain of this. Before we can hope to break free of our limitations, we need an education on this ancient relationship we humans carry with storylines and symbolism, both inside and out. Welcome to a journey to a brand new landscape. Welcome to Migration. I have over 30 years of direct experience in the fields of lucidity and out-of-body experiences. And over those years, I've seen a lot of different approaches to describing this phenomena to newcomers or people who are just curious or interested on the topic. Some of them I feel are helpful, a lot of them are often not so helpful. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to describe what I see is going on underneath the hood, so to speak, of these experiences. I'm trying to get newcomers to be able to get into the right frame of mind so that they can do the same thing that I can do. And I believe that it really does take a real radical change of perspective to be able to tap into these experiences. As we're going to eventually cover, lucid dreaming is really just a side effect of the ultimate goal that I have for you here. It's just one other step on the ladder to getting to what we're really trying to achieve, and that is a real change of perspective.
They say we only use a fraction of our brain's true potential. Now, that's when we're awake. When we're asleep, our mind can do almost anything.
Such as?
Well, imagine you're designing a building, right? You consciously create each aspect. But sometimes it feels like it's almost creating itself, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I'm discovering it.
Genuine inspiration, right? Now, in a dream, our mind continuously does this. We create and perceive our world simultaneously, and our mind does this so well that we don't even know what's happening.
So today we're going to be taking a look at a few clips from my favorite films, Inception and The Matrix, and we're going to be analyzing whether or not there's any real insight in these films that can help us achieve our ultimate goal of not just lucid dreaming, but everything beyond that. Before we can really dive into these paranormal states of consciousness and exploring what it is that your mind is really capable of, we need to start with a good working definition of lucid dreaming. From my perspective, lucid dreaming is all about acquiring power and freedom by detaching from your operating narrative. So what does that really mean, to detach from your operating narrative? Let's start with a normal dream state. I want you to consider all of the dreams that you can remember over your lifetime, the ones that have really impacted you, some of the weirder ones, the ones that have really stood out. I want you to think about what it is that connects all of them together. What is the same about all of your dreams, even though they might be completely different? What is going on that connects all of them? So it doesn't matter if we're talking about dreams where you are being chased by some monster, or dreams where you believed you were some supernatural entity, or dreams where you are on some other planet solving some crazy conspiracy crisis. There's something else going on behind all of your normal dream states, and that is that you're bound to a storyline.
Well, dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange. Let me ask you a question. You never really remember the beginning of a dream, do you? You always wind up right in the middle of what's going on.
I guess, yeah.
So how did we end up here?
Well, we just came from the,
Think about it, Ariadne. How did you get here? Where are you right now?
We're dreaming?
You're actually in the middle of the workshop right now, sleeping. This is your first lesson in shared dream.
And by that I mean that while the dream is playing out, you totally believe that what is happening is real. No matter how ridiculous the scene may be, you totally believe that it's all taking place. And that's the quality about normal dream states that we often don't pay a whole lot of attention to. We take it for granted that that's just the way that our dreams play out. We don't really appreciate how strange that is, that while we're in these dream states, these fantastic realities, we never stop and go, wait a minute, clearly none of this is real. So what's going on here? Lucid dreaming, on the other hand, if you think about it from the perspective of being attached to a narrative, lucid dreaming actually makes a whole heck of a lot more sense, because in that state you become fully aware of the truth that everything around you is absolutely an illusion. It's a fabrication of your mind and consciousness. And when your consciousness pulls away from that narrative, once you stop and go, okay, I'm aware now of the truth. I'm aware that none of this is actually taking place. Something amazing happens. Immediately, you are endowed with powers and insight and a freedom that you didn't have a moment ago when you were caught up in the narrative of the dream. So when you become lucid in a dream state, your consciousness is actually fully present. You are fully aware of the present moment, because a narrative cannot survive in the present moment. I'm going to say that again. A narrative cannot survive in the present moment. It requires that you are either thinking about something that happened in the past, or you are imagining some possible future, or you're imagining some other reality that's not really going on for you right now. A narrative cannot survive in the present, so you become awake to the moment.
Spiritual awakening occurs when you're fully in the present. To be fully in the present is to be spiritually awake. Now, to be fully in the present, strangely enough, isn't something the ego can pull off. It can't do it. The ego can hear about being in the present moment, but it can't really pull off being completely in the present moment, because the ego will be talking to itself. Am I in the present moment? How am I doing? Is this it? How do I know that it's the present moment? And therefore, it's like you're in the present moment, but really you're more in a narrative about this present moment. To be in the present, if the ego was to drop into the present moment fully, then the ego would not be talking to itself.
And when you become fully lucid in a dream state, everything changes immediately. You are no longer being chased by that monster. Immediately, you understand the true context that you're involved in. You realize everything around you, all of your demons, they're just projections of yourself. There is no fear any longer. Any lucid dreamer with real experience will tell you, this is like entering the ultimate play space where you can all of a sudden just create anything that you want to. It's the closest reality so far that I have found that humans can feel like gods. When I'm in that state, it is nothing short of pure euphoria. You can do anything, you can go anywhere. You can even project outside of your body at that point, which we're going to get into. But before you can get into this state of consciousness, again, you have to first be able to detach from your narrative. You have to be able to step back from the dream story that is being presented to you. And you have to also remain there. You have to remain focused and conscious. this is not always easy, because your consciousness seems to crave drama. It seems to crave storylines. It's going to keep trying to pull you back into some kind of narrative on some level. So this isn't something that really requires a brand new technique as much as it requires that you detach from all of the internal dialogue that you've been storing. It's more about unlearning what you are already carrying.
No. We'll never get it out now.
So certain are you? Always with you what cannot be done. Do you nothing that I say?
Master, moving stones around is one thing. This is totally different.
No, no different. Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
All right.
So in order to achieve this kind of power that I'm talking about in a lucid state, you have to become aware of the present moment, and then you have to maintain this very precarious balance with your consciousness where you are only focused on what's going on right now in the moment and not getting pulled away by other doubts or distractions, other ideas that are going to pull you away from that powerful present moment awareness. Everything else is going to try to suck you into less power, into making you believe that you are less than you are.
How did I beat you?
You're too fast.
Do you believe that my being stronger or faster has anything to do with my muscles in this place? You think that's air you're breathing now?
What I like about these movies is that we're not dealing with superheroes. We're dealing with ordinary people with minds and bodies that are really not so different from our own. We're not dealing with some genetically altered mutant that we can't really appreciate or we can't really connect with. We're talking about people who are acquiring power in a way that seems almost tangible to us in some way. So in Inception, when Cobb and his team walk into a dream state, they walk in with the full knowledge that everything that's going on around them is just an illusion. They're aware of this, and so the rules don't completely apply to them. And the same thing with the Matrix. Neo and his friends, when they go into the Matrix, they are more fully aware that they're entering a realm comprised of data, comprised of computer code. So they're able to also bend the rules, change the rules for their advantage. Since it's all a dream world, Tom Hardy's character can shapeshift, for example. He can make himself look like whoever he wants to impersonate. If you were to ask that same character to shapeshift without the knowledge that he is in a dream world, he would not know what the heck you were talking about. He would think you're crazy. There's no way that character could perform this same stunt without the knowledge that he's carrying that everything around him, including himself, is an illusion. The child in the Matrix would say, from that perspective,
That's impossible.
So, just how far can we take this idea? How far can we take this concept of detaching from our narratives gives us power? For right now, I simply want you to start considering what your operating narrative is in the moment. What is the guiding storyline that you are caught up in right now? And I want you to think about what your relationship is to it. What I'm trying to draw your attention to is how that exact same relationship that you carry with narrative plays out the same way in your dream states. Think about a dream that you had early in the morning, some intense dream that you had right before you were supposed to wake up in the morning. Maybe you were dreaming that you were fighting some dragon and there was life and death on the line. It was some struggle that you were fully invested in. And then the alarm goes off. And 5 minutes later, you're in the bathroom brushing your teeth. And you already have forgotten about that life and death struggle that you were completely invested in just a few moments ago. And now you're invested in a brand new narrative. Now you're invested in your daily story where you've got to get up and get ready for work, and you've got to get in the car and go deal with traffic and yada yada yada. So of course now you're invested in the narrative of your daily life. You know, the real one. The one that actually matters. The one that actually has consequences, right? So if some of you are possibly bothered by my suggestion that any of the narratives that you can be involved in, even your daily one, may not be completely real, then I would say that don't ever Google the words simulation theory.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Yeah, so I hate to break it to you, but yes, there are a lot of physicists out there that do in fact believe that our daily world is also a complete illusion, that none of this is as real as we imagine it to be. But I myself, I don't even lucid dream all that much anymore. Right now, I'm involved with this perspective and seeing how it applies in my daily life. I'm experimenting with what happens when you are detaching from your narratives in the real world and what kind of power you can achieve from diving into that perspective wholeheartedly. So for right now, I don't want you to get too caught up with whether or not you can lucid dream or not. Some people have driven themselves nuts over this concept. You need to start with this. You need to start with these ideas that I'm presenting. You need to pay attention to how narratives in your own life are affecting you, in your dream states, in the media that you watch, in the stories that people tell, in the news, anywhere, where anytime there is a story that is being imposed upon your consciousness, especially the ones that are coming from inside your head, from the internal dialogue. Pay very close attention to those. And I want you to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
Okay, so thank you for watching. If you are interested in this video and what I've been presenting, please hit the subscribe button. I plan to create several more of these videos where we keep diving deeper and deeper down this particular rabbit hole and seeing just what the limits are to human potential. If you want to take a look at what I've been doing for the last several years, again, this channel is brand new. I've been busy writing about these ideas for several years now. My first book is called Tripping the Field. It is pure fiction, and in Tripping the Field, I take these ideas that I'm discussing and I blew them out to their fullest, craziest proportions in a sci-fi occult novel. And of course, the book Migration, all of the links are below. That's what this video and this next series of videos is all going to be based on, is this nonfiction analysis of our relationship with media, our conscious relationship with stimuli and narratives. So please stick around and please stay tuned. Thank you.